responsible for communication at Excalibur, and I will be the host for today's workshop. More importantly, we have the speakers here and presenters for Excalibur workshop. My colleague Eduard Pacek, who is responsible for business development and partnerships, and our colleague Marek Cisar, our solution architect, who has been working with the Excalibur portfolio for years and has extensive hands-on experience. The topic for today is tunnel and client proxies, and Marek will guide us through a brief introduction to Excalibur, our core technology and its underlying principles. He will also explain and demonstrate the differences between SaaS and on-prem in the context of infrastructure network segmentation. Next, Eduard will focus on the streamed access management, or SAM, secure tunnel component that we designed and developed. Marek will also present a live demo to show you how it works. And finally, we will challenge traditional approaches with our innovative technology and show you how easy deployment actually can be. We invite you to participate actively in the workshop by asking questions and contributing to the discussion at any time. And of course, there will be a dedicated Q&A session at the end. But if you'd prefer to postpone your questions, please post them in the chat under Q&A. If you'd like to ask questions during the session, which we appreciate very much, simply raise your hand and we will give you an opportunity to ask or discuss directly. Marek, please feel free to start.
Thank you, Zuzana. So welcome again, and let's start shortly with the agenda, just to talk about what is in front of us, what we will go through, and what are the particular topics of our today's session. So in a minute, Edo will talk a little bit about the Excalibur as a company. Then he will talk a little bit about the Excalibur, some as the platform concept. Then we will move to the topic which will be talking or demonstrating differences between privilege access management deployed or configured within the on-prem environments versus software as a service environments or solutions. Then I will talk a little bit about the RDP and SSH tunneling and proxying concepts. I will show you the Excalibur's PAM tunneling feature. Then we will move to the Excalibur's SSH and RDP proxying feature. Also, I will be demonstrating both of these technologies directly in the deep dive demos. The last time I was showing these, there were some glitches which hopefully are already fixed and solved. So today I expect a full experience of those demos. Then we can talk a little bit about the key takeaways, and as usual, there will be a time for your questions. Okay, though, please go ahead. The stage is yours.
All right, let's go for the mandatory ride, I guess. I see only just the familiar faces, so I will be really brief and quick with this. As you know, Excalibur is a Slovakian-based cybersecurity company with a specialized technology for the MFA PAM and also the AI overview solution. And we are closely connected to the European bodies like SECC or EXO or EUDIS. All of these is to make sure that it's really recognized by the highest standards that are defining also the regulations for the European Union. We are also fully ISO certified, and we are also fully penetration tested on a regular basis. So this is just a small amount of information that you need about Excalibur. And of course, Excalibur is focused on covering mostly the critical infrastructure like banking, healthcare, governmental institutions, and so on. Right, Marek, we can go next one. So, and what the Excalibur is, of course, is not a standard PAM. The standard privileged access management solutions are guarding, as it's from the name, privileged few people who are mostly somebody who has extensive rights in systems, meaning some administrators and so. So we are focused on from the other side. We are guarding all the users, and we are not just extending the connection, but we are isolating them from the system, meaning to have like completely air-gapped and isolated system. So this is why we are doing it is as a streamed access management, because you can't really attack the picture or the stream that is coming to the user. Right, let's move on a bit. And it's consisting of 4 basic layers that we are introducing. One is the multi-factor authentication that is leveraging phone as an access token and using the factors that the user already have. So some fingerprints or Face ID or geolocation. So we are reflecting on the need to restrict the usage of credentials that might be stolen by the phishing or other methods. Afterwards, once you are authenticated into the system, you're going to the SAM dashboard, and the SAM dashboard allows us to granulate the access. So, and every user can have the customized input, so you are not having access to the whole infrastructure, but to just isolated chunks based on the administrator. And the user, all he needs is just to have the laptop and the HTML5 browser. So these are the basics. And then brings us also to the third layer. So whenever the user is doing it in the system, it's fully auditable and visible, meaning there are recordings of the videos of the connections, and of course the logs that are providing information also about what the administrator was doing into the infrastructure. And over all of this, once the user is connected somewhere, there is a AI layer, which is right now being developed, and this is something like a sneak peek. We are making it as a cybersecurity specialist on top of shoulder of each of the users, and has the ability to stop the session in case there is something going on that shouldn't be there. Right? It's contextually understands the session, the user, the intent, and based on that, it's making the decision. So these are the 4 basic layers. These are the basic information about Excalibur, and I guess we can jump directly into the deeper topic of Marek. It's yours.
Okay, though. Thank you very much. So we will move on, and we will focus on PAM or SAM solutions installed as an on-premise solution or deployment. And also we will compare that with the software as a service possibilities. So first, let's move to the on-prem solutions. So basically, as you can see on this picture, there is the difference between particular components of traditional privileged access management solutions or vendors, and the major difference in Excalibur SAM deployed as the on-prem solution. I will turn on my laser pointer to show you more. Okay, so within this picture, which is telling us how the traditional vendors are managing the on-prem installations, and as you can see, it is consisting of a lot of different components. For example, such as access management as it is, then some dedicated virtual machines or physical machines, for example, as the identity vault, or a session manager, or some kind of job engine, for example, performing scanning tasks, rotational tasks, rotation of passwords or credentials. And also there must be some kind of protection of all these environment in the mean of some kind of firewalling, network segmentation, and so on. When we are talking about the traditional concepts, usually there is no built-in multi-factor authentication present. So we need to talk then a little bit about the third-party solutions to provide such possibilities. So it looks quite complicated, and in reality, it is complicated. And this is just the simple picture. It is not telling us anything about the high availability possibilities, for example. There is no storage service mentioned in the picture as well. So all of these details make the deployment quite complex, quite costly. Also, there are some scalability issues, so customers can struggle efficiently scale the deployment to provide consistent performance, and also a little bit of limitation in a manner of flexibility. So if there are some changes necessary regarding the infrastructure, it may be a little bit complex and not easy to perform for customers. Some details regarding security I already mentioned. So when we are talking about the dedicated, for example, physical machine, which is, by the way, advised by the vendors as the correct approach to store all the necessary credentials, usernames, passwords, authentication keys, token, and so on. So also it needs to be protected by complex ecosystem of networking equipment, for example. So when we are looking at this complex picture, then we also need to talk about the high maintenance costs, for example. So you, as the customer or client, need to take care about the continuous patching, about the continuous update application. Also, you need to take care about the hardware lifecycle, and so on and so forth. So the best approach how to avoid all these necessary tasks is obviously to migrate to the cloud and use privileged access management or consume that as the service. So this is possibly the best approach. But we can compare that with the on-prem Excalibur installation as well. So on this very simple picture, we have all three major parts of the whole ecosystem. So on the first place, there is a user with his computer and his smartphone. In the middle of the picture is the Excalibur SAM platform running as the local installation on the existing Kubernetes cluster or some dedicated one. And all of those major components of Excalibur SAM are running within that Kubernetes cluster. So there is no need to deploy anything else, any other virtual machines, any other physical machines, which will work as the credentials vault, and so on. And behind the central part of the picture, on the left side, this is the client's infrastructure. So basically, all of his important applications, platforms, identity management systems, and so on. So if we compare that to the traditional solutions, it's the major difference, I think. Okay, so I also created a simple picture, which is describing the software as a service variant of other vendors. Still, if the customer is consuming the privileged access management as a service, the customer still needs somehow to connect the cloud service or cloud environment into the local infrastructure or local network. And again, there is a need to deploy or to install many different components which will take care about the interconnection between the cloud and the on-prem environment. And also, those components may need quite a lot of different possibilities and protocols and connections to be able to communicate properly between the cloud environment and on-prem environment, and also to provide all necessary services and interfaces for users to correctly or properly provide the basic functionality. In comparison with Excalibur SAM running as the cloud service or software as a service, so in that case, Excalibur application server is running within the Excalibur cloud, and the only component that we need to connect to the local infrastructure or network is to deploy Excalibur tunneling client. The tunneling client may be installed or deployed on existing virtual machine. It does not matter if it is a Windows or Linux. And also, there is no need to make any complicated configurations on the perimeter firewalls, for example, because the connection between the Excalibur cloud and tunneling client is not being initiated by the Excalibur application server, but in opposite way. That means the tunneling client is initiating the connectivity to the Excalibur cloud. That Excalibur client then allows us to connect to the required PAM targets using the traditional approach via the streamed access. So user will authenticate into the Excalibur web-based dashboard and then connect to the appropriate web target or RDP or SSH target as is the user need. Also, the tunneling client can provide connectivity to on-prem identity management system, for example, the Active Directory. So this is it. This is how simple it can be, and as simple it should be. So because more simple it is, then then we can make it more reliable and also more secure. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the Excalibur SAM Secure Tunnel client. And here I want to explain how the Excalibur Secure Tunnel architecture works from the left to the right. Yeah, on the left side, obviously, you can see the customer's intranet environment or infrastructure where the protected systems live. And we can talk about the entire network or network segments or specified subnets, depending on the exact deployment scenario. So that means we can have single tunneling client deployed, or we can have multiple of them deployed and used by the Excalibur ecosystem. So basically, as I already mentioned, the tunneling client is usually deployed within the local network, and it is then actively connecting to the Excalibur cloud, where the application servers are running. Tunneling client can be installed on existing virtual machine or physical machine. It can be also deployed on dedicated one, and if there is a such need, it can be also installed on the user's or administrator's computer. I will talk a little bit about it later. Okay, when the Excalibur tunneling client successfully connects to the Excalibur cloud, it creates encrypted and secured connection between the cloud environment and on-prem network. That secured connection is called tunnel because it is then used to be able to connect the users to particular PAM targets. That connectivity or session connectivity is being tunneled by the existing connection between Excalibur client and Excalibur cloud. And all of those details you can see down below on this part of the picture. That means that initially the tunneling client will create only single connection, which is also called control channel. I already mentioned that it is encrypted. It is encrypted on the mutual TLS layer, and it is utilizing the secure WebSocket protocol to connect. When this control channel is being created, then the tunneling client is ready to perform tunneling or to provide a connectivity to the specified PAM targets, or also connectivity to the identity management in a mean of Active Directory. Tunneling client by default is not connecting anywhere, only to the Excalibur cloud, and is waiting for instructions. Where there is a request to create a new connectivity to a specified PAM target, then each PAM target will have individual TCP tunneled session within the tunneled connectivity. So this is the principle how it works, and how the security is being involved in all of these technological possibilities of the tunneling client. And there is a little bit more, but I will talk about it a little bit later. Okay, so yeah, tunneling client creates secured, encrypted, and mutually authenticated connection. And also it acts as a broker for on-prem identity store possibilities to connect to the Active Directory. Also, it provides a seamless access without a need of exposing specific protocols or ports on the perimeter firewalls. So there is no need to somehow make the security of or configuration on the perimeter firewalls less secure. It is based on the client-server architecture, so installation packages are available as the Debian package, RPM package, also Microsoft installer package. That means it can be installed on quite a broad variety of Linux operating systems, Debian, Ubuntu, and all of those distributions based on Debian or Ubuntu. Also, the RPM package is available for Red Hat, Enterprise Linux, CentOS, maybe Fedora, but still I was not, or I haven't enough time to be able to test the RPM package on the Fedora distribution. But I think there is no difference between the Fedora or Red Hat Enterprise Linux, so it should work without any issues. And also the Microsoft installer package to be able to install the Secure Tunnel client on some kind of Windows-based server or the Windows workstation of the user. And I already mentioned that multiple tunnel clients scenario is supported as well. Okay, so let's move on to the demo. So I will show you how to prepare the configuration for the secure tunneling client, how to install it, how to configure, and how to use it to be able to connect to the isolated network segments and configure it as the connection broker for particular PAM targets. So first, I need to log in to the dashboard. Again, I'm sharing the screen of my smartphone so you can see all what's going on my side. So I'm authenticating into the Excalibur dashboard. It wants me to provide the biometry, and I'm in. And regarding the tunnel functionality, the tunnel functionality is based on a possibility to communicate possibility of Excalibur SAM application server to communicate with underlying Kubernetes cluster, because when I will create the tunnel configuration, it will tell to the Kubernetes cluster, okay, dear cluster, please create such dedicated application component because it will be used by a particular tunneling client. So that means that every tunneling client is using his own dedicated application component running within the same Kubernetes cluster as the rest of the platform is. Okay, so I will create a new configuration. I will name that workshop tunnel client, like such, and I will save that. Here in the server status, you can see that it is currently listed as unhealthy. So we need to wait a little bit. Now it is healthy. That means the Kubernetes cluster was asked to create such dedicated application component. It took 3, maybe 5 seconds, and then it was created, and now it is running and ready for the tunneling clients to successfully connect. So now we need to install the tunneling client somewhere, somehow. For today's session, I selected the Windows-based operating system, so I can show you how it works. I will download the installer as the first step. Okay, installer is very small. It is approximately 2-3 megabytes or maybe 5. And I will copy now the installation package to the Windows server where I would like to install the client. Like such. Okay. And now I'm going to install that. The installation is as simple as a few clicks to the next button and then the finish button. That's it. Quick, nice and easy. And that was only the first step. Now I need to activate the tunnel because I need to tell the client, okay, this is your activation key, this is your activation certificate, And I already mentioned that there is the mutual TLS involved. That means that the tunneling client is checking if he's connecting to the proper Excalibur SAM server, and also Excalibur SAM server is checking if the incoming connection from the client is the authorized one. Okay, so activation command, it's this one, so I will copy the command to the clipboard, and now I'm going to activate the client. I'm using the command line like such, and within few seconds I should, it is now connected, so the connection is being created and the tunneling client is ready to perform tunneling connectivity. Okay, I'm going to create PAM target, one for the Linux system, one for the Windows system. So I will start with the Linux one. Currently, I'm not going to select the tunneling client because I would like to show you that there is no direct connectivity between the application server and the target system. As you can already see, I'm typing in the private and local IP address. So the Excalibur SAM is running in the cloud, but I'm trying to connect to the private or isolated network segment. Okay, I will configure the credentials like such. I will enable the file transfer and also the clipboard. Session recording is enabled by default. And I will configure the folder for file transfer because we will need it later. Okay, I'm saving the configuration. The Excalibur will notify me, there is no connection possible from the application server to the PAM target, but I would like to continue, so I will confirm that. Okay, that's the first target, and now I'm going to create the second one, the Windows base. Workshop Windows. Okay, like such. Administrator. Okay. All right. I will also enable file transfer possibilities and a clipboard. That's basically it. So I will try to save. Again, it is the isolated network, so I will be notified that there is no possibility to directly connect. Okay, I will confirm. So now I have two new PAM targets. Let's try to connect to one or the another one. Okay, it's trying, but no, it's not possible. Okay, so let's configure it a little bit further to configure the tunneling client there for the Linux one and also for the Windows, like such. And now try to connect again. Yeah, it works. So now I'm able to communicate using the tunneling client. So I was also able to connect to the specified PAM target. I can work as usual. So there is also the clipboard working. I can show you. You can see. Also, there is possible to transfer the files. I will show you that as well. for example, this picture. Yeah, file transfer is being performed already. So let's check. Yeah, there is the file I recently transferred. Okay, I will terminate the session and we'll try to connect to the Windows PAM target just to show you that it is working as well. Okay, not this target, but this target. Yep, nicely. So my connection now works. I can also transfer the files if I need to. I can use the clipboard because it was allowed to do. So let's try to upload some file. Okay, there it is. Let's check the file transfer drive. Yeah, here's the file. Okay, so everything's working, everything's fine. So I think we can continue with the presentation. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the possibility to proxy native protocols such as RDP or SSH. And you may ask, okay, why this is the topic, why we are going to talk about it. Why? So you have a possibility to use dashboard as the connectivity interface to connect to such PAM targets. Okay, in many cases, it is fine for regular users, but in other situations, there is need to utilize native RDP or SSH clients to perform such PAM session. Why? Yeah, basically, many system administrators relied and still rely on a native SSH and RDP clients. In many scenarios, those clients are already integrated into the daily tasks of system administrators, and also many existing automation scripts or automation tools are using those native clients. So there was a lot of requests regarding this kind of functionality from our customers and partners. So we decided to implement such functionality into the Excalibur SAM. In the beginning, we were talking about less secure possibility to perform such PAM session, but yeah, security is not always on the first place. So we were convinced, and we designed and created such possibility into the tunneling client. Since the tunneling client is already in place, maybe the customers are using that. So it was quite a good idea to utilize the tunneling client to perform SSH and RDP proxying functionality. In that case, we do not need to perform connectivity based on SSH or RDP protocol directly to the Excalibur application server, for example, using the standard internet connectivity. So we utilize tunneling clients to perform such connection in the encrypted way. That's the main reason why we decided to utilize a tunneling client. Okay, so basically, to use native SSH and RDP clients, is still the case. It's still the reality. So we needed to adapt. So we did. And this is basically how it works. It is almost the same as the standard streamed RDP or SSH session principle. But in this case, with a little bit of difference. So the Excalibur tunneling client is listening for incoming native RDP or SSH connections made by the Excalibur users, like such. Then the Excalibur tunneling client is taking care and is providing the same tunneling functionality as before to connect those incoming requests from users to the appropriate PAM targets. It is also covered by the strong multi-factor authentication. You will see that in the demo how it works, how it looks like. Also, there is still the tunneling possibilities involved. So basically the same principle as standard streamed or web-based RDP and SSH sessions. Yeah, basically this is the description about the solution, how it works, how we made it still usable and secure enough for the users. And we wanted to do it or to keep the same user experience. So we decided still to utilize the QR code during the authentication or authorization requests. You may be asking, okay, is it even possible to show QR code within the SSH session? Yes, it is. It was quite simple to implement. And also, we implemented that in the standard way, so the QR code is being refreshed each 15 seconds to keep the authentication process as secure as possible. As well, all sessions are being monitored, are being recorded if they are configured to be so. Also, all the activities of the users are being logged. Also, the file transfer possibility is there. It is possible to transfer files between the computer of the users and the PAM targets using native clients and utilizing the proxy RDP and SSH session. Yeah, I can hear there is the question, so let me check. Okay, is there any support for WinSCP or SCP CLI? Yeah, unfortunately, regarding Windows, WinSCP or SCP CLI client, it is not available. But for Linux-based clients, it is possible. And I will show you how this can be achieved on Windows-based machines. Hopefully the answer is clear and we can continue. Okay, so also the main advantage when utilizing the functionality in this way is that the privileged credentials are still securely managed by Excalibur application server, and they are never exposed to the end users. And basically, that's it. So we can check how the traditional approach to perform such functionality is based into the other privileged access management solutions. Yeah, as well, on the left side, the native clients, RDP client or SSH one, web browser, and so on. Typically, there must be, regarding the RDP or SSH protocol, there must be some kind of native server running and listening. Some vendors are performing such strange or complicated mechanisms or workflows how to proceed with the authentication, so the credentials can still be still cannot be visible for end users. So yeah, always quite complicated solutions, and the complexity takes time, takes costs, and also it is less flexible as, for example, the Excalibur SSH RDP functionality could be. Okay, let's check the RDP and SSH demo. So now we have the tunneling client installed. I need to configure it to provide such functionality. Okay, so I will modify configuration of my workshop tunneling client, and I will enable proxy, RDP, and also the proxy for SSH. I will save that, and that's it. From this moment, this tunneling client should be able to provide those interfaces and should be listening on those ports. We can check if they are. So the IP address of the tunneling client is 10.14.16.14.200, and the port for RDP proxy is 33899. Yeah, it is listening, so good to know. And also we can check the SSH proxy port. It is 5.2s, like such. Yeah, it is listening. Nice. Okay, so I will go back to the Excalibur dashboard. I will also go to the PAM section. I will click on more details regarding my Windows PAM target, and I will check the RDP proxy connection tab. I will select the appropriate client tunnel or tunnel client, and yeah, the dashboard is telling me, please use this IP address and port number, and use this string as the username. I was asking developers why there are always 4 zeros, and they told me, yeah, because we designed that the tunneling client is running on the administrator's PC, so he can utilize 4 zeros as the IP address. Okay, I told them a good idea, but we still need to enhance that a little bit. So in the future, hopefully, there will be a list of possible IP addresses on which the tunneling client is listening on. Okay, so IP address of mine tunneling client is this one. So I'm going to connect using the native Windows RDP client. Okay, so IP address of the tunneling client again, 10.16.14.200, and that specific RDP port. I need to also change the username. The username is this one. I will zoom a little bit. And this means we are trying to connect using the QR code. There is the symbol of percentage. That means this is the separator between authentication method and PAM target ID. Okay, so I will copy the username. I will configure my RDP client accordingly. It is now okay, so I'm going to connect. Let's proceed. Okay. It is showing me the QR code, so I need to scan that. Okay, there is something wrong. The mobile application is telling me no security policy defined for action authentication. Okay, I will configure all the necessary stuff within the Excalibur dashboard. All right, first I need to do is to check if there is some policy already present or created for me, which I can use. So let's go to the security policies. And let's all the security policies. Okay, this one looks good because it is telling me it is regarding the RDP and SSH proxy. Nice. It is the action type authentication. That's fine because the user needs to authenticate. And it is the target type PAM. Nice. Let's check more details about this policy. Okay, the policy is already assigned to the user groups. Nice. It also has all necessary rule set or rule sets configured. Good. And it is telling me that it is applied on PAM target group, which is called RDP and SSH proxy PAM target group. Okay, maybe my PAM targets are not assigned in that group because they were freshly created, and that was all. So let's go to the PAM targets. I can see right now there are no groups assigned, so I will do so. PAM target groups. I'm searching for that RDP SSH proxy, this one, and I will add there my new targets, and those are this one and this one. Okay, so my login should work now. Let's try to scan the QR code again. It is looking good, so I will provide a biometry. Oh, nice. Something's going on. And I was able to connect to the PAM target, which was my isolated Windows server. That's nice. Okay, now I need to transfer some files, so let's do so. For example, I will copy this picture. Copy. Paste. That's it. The picture was already transferred between my computer and the PAM target. There is also a message telling me that it was transferred. Yeah, that's the picture I wanted to see. So correct. The download of the file will work in the same way. So this is it, how to copy files between a user and the remote Windows server. And now I'm going to show you how to connect to the Linux-based PAM target and how to transfer the file on the Windows machine. Okay, let's go back to the list of targets. This Linux one, I would like to see more details about it. SSH proxy connection is the thing I'm interested in. I will select proper tunneling client. And now I can check, okay, how to start the session. To start the session, please type this command into your command line. Or if you would like to transfer the files as well, you need to perform or to run a little bit different command. Okay, I'm going to do so. Regarding the Windows machine, since there is no possibility to natively run SCP or WinSCP or SCP CLI and to connect to the appropriate PAM target using the QR code authentication. So for that purpose, I have installed for myself a Windows subsystem for Linux based virtual machine, and typically on that virtual machine, since it is the Linux one, I can perform the file transfer. Okay, so first I need to connect to the PAM target. Already, I know that I need to modify the IP address, 16.14.200, like such. Yes, I want to connect. Okay. Nice. The QR code is being drawn within my Linux machine. I will authenticate. Yeah, that's it. I'm on the target. I would like to work or interact with. Okay. Now I need to transfer some files. Okay, I have already prepared a second window of the same Linux-based virtual machine on my Windows, and there are instructions within the dashboard how to connect for the file transfer. The workaround which is used for this kind of connectivity is called SSH multiplexing. That means I created a special object which is listed in here in the dashboard in my Linux virtual machine, and now I can utilize that object to connect SCP or SFTP client into. So let's do so. So yeah, my SSH is still alive, so I will try to connect to SFTP interface of the remote machine, like such. Good. So now I can transfer the files. It's a little bit strange behavior, maybe, for some Windows-based users, but believe me, there is nothing being strange within it, because it is pure text-based file transfer. Okay, so I would like to transfer a file from this virtual machine, which is listed in my home folder. So let's do so. I'm going to change directory, or the remote directory. Okay, yeah, it's definitely the directory on the remote machine, because I already can see there is the picture which I transferred. And let's try to transfer the picture from the remote machine to my computer, for example. Okay, so I'm going to get the file. I'm going to get the file from the temporary folder. The file name is this one. I need to use quotes, sorry, like such. And I want to save the picture, for example, to my home folder. And I'm going to call that picture, like such. Okay, the file has been transferred to my virtual machine. Since it is the Windows subsystem for Linux virtual machine, I can access the folders directly from my Windows machine. Okay, so virtual machine is called Ubuntu. Okay, I'm going to the folder Home. User is called User, and there should be a file called Picture. Here it is. So let's check the picture. Yeah, it is that car. Okay, so this was how to connect to the PAM target using the native RDP or SSH client. Also, a demo how to configure security policy for users to be able to authenticate. Also, the authentication process using the QR code listed or drawn within the RDP window or directly in the SSH console, and also possibility how to transfer the files. Okay, so let's finish the file transfer. Let's terminate the session like such, and also let's disconnect this session as well, so we can check the dashboard for the sessions. Yeah, there is the information. Okay, the session was closed because of log off by user event, and basically that's it. Let's go back to the dashboard, to the list of sessions, like such. And already you can see workshop Windows session and workshop Linux session as well. Okay, let's check workshop Linux session first, because we need to check if there is the file transfer listed. Yes, it is. As you remember, the file has the number 6 in the name, and this is it. Let's check just for sure if there is the correct content of the file. Okay, let's open it. Yeah, correct. Maybe let's check the recording. Yeah, recording works. I press some enters, I think. Hopefully it will be visible. Yeah, but you get the point. Yeah, it is being recorded successfully. The recording is being stored on the Excalibur server. Also, file transfer is being recorded as well. Let's go to the Windows session. Here you also can see that I performed the file transfer from my computer to the remote machine. Again, the same picture with the same name, but in this time it was not the download, it was the upload. Okay, so that was the demo, and a little bit of summary for today. So tunneling client and its SSH and RDP proxy functionality basically signifies or simplifies the deployment in quite a huge amount, because you don't need in the software as a service variant, you don't need many different application components, many different virtual machines, or maybe even physical machines. Everything is being secured, so there is the secure connection, encrypted connection between the local environment and the cloud environment. Users can connect and authenticate safely using the same mechanism as in different scenarios to scan the QR code, provide all the necessary authentication factors. So it is safe, it prevents a credential theft, and also, as you already seen, all the actions are recorded, audited, including the session recording and file transfer as well. Okay, thank you very much. This is all from my side. So, Zuzana, I think it's time to talk a little bit about our limited offer. So please go ahead.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Marek, for your presentation. And I'd like to introduce a limited offer that we have at Excalibur. We prolonged the deadline till August 31st, until when we will be offering our solution completely at no cost for European organizations, companies, and institutions. And in case you would like to know more and you would be interested, I'm posting the link in chat right now. There is also an application form that you can just submit, and we will come back to you within 24 hours. So if you'd be interested, please just have a look and leave us a message as an application form. Thank you. That is all from me.
Thank you, Zuzana. And still, the workshop series is continuing. So next week, I would like to introduce you to Excalibur SAM as a cloud native solution. So we will talk about a little bit about the development and deployment principles, and maybe we will try a little bit to look behind the scenes or under the hood how the Excalibur platform works, and I will try to show you also how to simply install the Excalibur SAM using the Helm chart. Okay, thank you again. Any questions from your side? No questions?
And if there aren't any questions, I think we can wrap up for today, and we will be very happy if we will see you here online with us again next week. We are looking forward. So thank you very much, and see you next week.
Thank you, and see you again.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.